Welcome back. This is EdentoEternity. So far we've gone over the first 5 days of creation, which brings us to day 6 of creation, which is the most important part, the creation of man. So we're going to come back to Genesis chapter 1 of the King James Version and start at verse 24. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Freezing up here again. Let's go back to 24, verse 24. So God created every living creature out of the earth after his kind, the animal's own kind. So day 5, it was the fish and the fowl of the air came out of the water, and every beast of the field came out of the earth, were created out of the earth. And God saw it was good. And God said, all right, verse 26, and God said, let us make man in our image. Now, if you notice here, it says our image. It's plural. God is spoken of as being plural, like a collective. There's more than one. There's more than one force at work. This is a hint at the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. So right there in the beginning, you have mention of God in the Trinity. And if you go back to Genesis 1, you can see that the light of the world was created, and you can link that with John chapter 1, where it describes that Jesus brought the light of the world. So there's the first emergence of the Trinity right there. So God created man in his own image. So the image of God is well, first we learned that he was the creator in Genesis 1:1, and just a couple of verses later it talks about the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. So we know that God is spirit, or at least part of him is spirit. You have God in the spirit, in the flesh. So when man was created, he was created in God's image, and man was created to be immortal. Man was not going to die. He was going to live where God put him and where God created him, and he was going to live forever. And we'll get to that in the next chapter, which will go into depth. The next chapter kind of goes back to towards the beginning of creation, and kind of breaks it down and goes into more depth. And that's a pretty exciting topic. So God created man and woman. God blessed them, gave them the earth. He gave them the earth to subdue. So man has dominance over every animal, over every creature in the earth. And well, we still do. We have pets. We train them. We tell them what to do, and they obey us. Now, some animals like lions and tigers and bears, you might not want to make a house pet out of, because that might not turn out very well. But we do have dominion over all the creatures. So you come down to 29, and God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. So when it says to you it shall be for meat, meat means food. To you I give you these things for food. So God created all these fruit trees for man to eat of. And you find out that not till after the flood were animals given to be for food. So it's an indication that before the flood, man didn't eat animals, and animals didn't eat animals. Man was given fruit, and down here you see, I have given every green herb for meat, for, let's see, verse 30, for the fowl of the air, for every creeping thing of the earth. So God gave every green herb for meat for the animals, and the fruits of the trees for man. So that's indication that we were all herbivores before the flood and became meat eaters and what's the word for that? It skips my mind right now, but so God found everything here to be good. That's the sixth day, man and the beasts of the field. I think we're going to roll on to chapter 2, Genesis chapter 2, King James Version. So, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. So after the 6 days, the heavens and the earth were finished. Now, if you notice here, there was no aliens created, so you're never going to find any alien life out there in space. If you do, if they come out and say we found an alien race that has visited us, it's a hoax. There were heavenly hosts that have walked with man and have their influence on the earth, but we'll get to that. So on the seventh day, God ended his work which he made, and he rested on the seventh day. Now that he didn't rest because he was tired and he needed a nap, obviously. This is God. He made the heavens and the earth. He didn't say, oh man, that was a lot of work. I'm so tired now. I need to lay down on my pillow and get some shut-eye. That's not what it was. He made this work, and he saw it, and he said, this is very good. Now if you imagine you take on a hobby, and you put all this work into that hobby, or a garden you're building. Say you're a gardener and you build this garden and you weed it and you plant it and everything's growing good, and you look at this garden after you've put all this work into it, and it's about harvest time, and you sit back and you just look at it. You rest and you just admire all the work that you put into it. This is what God was doing. He was resting so that he could admire his creation. And this is why it's sanctified for us, so that we can take one day off a week. This is where the Sabbath comes from. The seventh day has been sanctified. So we have the Sabbath day to recognize God's creation and give him the credit that he deserves for creating everything you see, from the stars, the sun, the moon, gravity, life. So we should definitely take a day off once a week. This is all he requires. There's 7 days in a week. He gives you 6, and he asks for 1 back. And it's also a day where you can put away all the TV and all the movies, and you can rest your mind, and you can focus on the things of God and renew your mind. And this will prepare you for the next 6 days of the week. So, and we're frozen up again. I'm gonna work on that, but I believe you can still hear me, so we still have a study. But thanks for joining, and we're going to, on the next study, break down and go into further depth the creation and kind of rehash everything here, starting on Genesis chapter 2, verse 4. So.